Are you a fan of the Hyundai IONIQ 5 and 6 but wish their styling was merged and then upsized? Well, do I have a vehicle for you? Actually, Hyundai has it and it's called the IONIQ 11. Wait, I'm sorry, I'm being told it's the IONIQ 9. This is the all-new 2026 Hyundai IONIQ 9, and it's a funky future-style 3-row electric SUV with big power and great range. Meet Hyundai's new flagship of the fleet. The 2026 IONIQ 9 takes what the brand has learned from its 5 and 6, scaled it up, and managed to not lose anything that makes the other EV members of the family so appealing. The Parametric Pixel design of the lighting still looks fun, but I'm really impressed with the flow from the front to the rear. That's fantastic design work that works wonderfully with the great shoulder line and that rear D-pillar kink. Hyundai calls this design language aerosthetic, which is a bit silly, but design teams love stuff like that, so I'll let them have this one, especially since it really does come together nicely from front to rear, and I do love the multi-spoke wheel option, as well as some of the colors I've seen displayed. The only area I need to see more closely and in person is the treatment around the fenders. I'm not sold on it, but I'm not against it yet either. Inside, the cabin makes great use of its available space with a flat floor and room for 6 or 7, depending on how you spec it. There are dual 12-inch monitor displays set up ahead of the driver, with one for the gauge cluster and the other for infotainment duty. Hyundai uses 100-watt high-output USB-C ports, so you can charge your devices up nice and quickly. There's a UV sterilizer in the car to knock the germs off small items, and the center island can slide rearward for more room up front or more storage for second-row passengers. Another nice feature is available massage seats for the front row, plus being able to have the first and second rows fully recline in case you want to take a nap during a charging session. You won't have to wait that long though, because the IONIQ 9 has an 800-volt architecture. With a 350 kilowatt fast charger, you'll go from 10 to 80% in 24 minutes. The driving range on the most efficient version is rated at 335 miles. That would be on the long-range rear-wheel drive IONIQ 9 with 19-inch wheels. The sportiest version, the performance all-wheel drive on 21s, will rip from 0 to 60 in just under 5 seconds. Speaking of the versions, all models utilize a 110.3 kilowatt-hour battery pack. The long-range rear-wheel drive features a single motor out back, making 215 horsepower. The long-range all-wheel drive adds a 94 horsepower motor up front. Finally, the performance all-wheel drive uses a pair of 215 horsepower motors. Don't add them together for the actual output power math, because that's not always the case. Once we get more info with more details, we can dive more deeply into that side of things. Chassis-wise, Hyundai uses a McPherson front and multi-link rear setup for the suspension, but also employs self-leveling dampers to keep the ride nice and plush. And if you want to tow with this thing, it's rated to handle up to 5,000 pounds. Hyundai says it will start deliveries of the 2026 IONIQ 9 in the spring of 2025. We don't have an idea on the price just yet, but if we go off the pricing for the Palisade and figure in an EV and flagship premium, it's safe to assume this one will start at or over 50 grand. A top spec calligraphy model could be in the high 60,000 range or even just touch 70 with options. It should qualify for the full $7,500 federal tax credit, if that's still a thing, since it's assembled in Georgia. Either way, the styling is great, the interior looks wonderful, and the power and driving range seem more than adequate. Hyundai continues to build great things, and the IONIQ 9 is the latest bit of proof of that.